Alright, so go ahead and move these out the way. Select them all. Up arrow. So it's just my groups. Slide them to the side. Alright, so again, we're going to be making this piece. It's our first custom piece here. Alright, we'll try to keep it basic for now. It's got little notches here and there. Get pretty complicated. We'll address those in a second. So for right now, let's go ahead. Let's bring up a cylinder. Okay, so right now, how big is the default cylinder? Anybody? Taking a look at the grid. You know, 2x4 is a little oblong, like in 3D space. So if the cube is 1 by 1 by 1, right? Pull up a cube. And how big is this cylinder? Like, how much space does it take up on the grid?
It takes probably 4.
A little more than that. A little more than that. So the way to check, let's see. So first, put the cylinder on the grid. Press and hold D. Press and hold V. This corner right here. DV. Bring it down to the bottom corner, so it's above the grid. And then hold X. Bring it on top of the grid, hold X again, and snap it to these guidelines here. So it's perfectly inside a certain set of guidelines here. So I'm going to take this default cube, bring it on top of the grid here. All right, so I got one here. Duplicate, hold X, it's 2. Duplicate X, that's 4. Duplicate X up, so I have 8. So what does that mean? How big is this cylinder? If 8 cubes, it takes 8 cubes to cover it up. Well, no, this is a demonstration part. Get an idea of sizes here. This part should be easy though. We know how to put things on the grid and then snap them around the grid. But besides that, how big is this cube? After taking a look at what we got here. So eight blocks, right? This is geometry, right? One block is 1 by 1 by 1, right? So it's 2 by 2 by 2, right? So 2 centimeters long, 2 centimeters wide, 2 centimeters high. Okay, and so what is 50% of the cylinder here? It gets kind of tricky, so it's not exactly half because we're halving each dimension, which means we'll bring it down a little more than half total volume. A good reference would be, is everybody familiar with HD and then 4K and all that?
Yeah.
So when you have HD screen, how many pixels is that? Who knows? They call it 1080. Why is it called 1080? So it's 1080, 1080 pixels high, 1920 long. All right, but a step up from that is usually 4K. Now, that means 4 times as many pixels, but they call it double. It's not really double, but the thing is, it's like when you have, it's the same thing with the blocks here. So if we have one of these, if this is HD, right, let's step up to 4K and keep the ratio, right, they want to add 3 more additional screens. So in total, 4K has 4 times as many pixels as HD. All right, and it's kind of the same thing with volume, except with one extra dimension here. All right, so the thing is, in order to get this cylinder into a 1 by 1 by 1 space, we want to half all the dimensions over here in the channel box. So I hit 0.5 on the scale. Alright, then I'm able to snap it, should be, oh, hold on. We'll still eyeballing it a little bit here. There you go. So bring back my cube. Press an old D, V, bottom corner, X, and it should fit inside one cube. Alright, so let's give that a try right quick. Let's place the default cylinder inside of 1 by 1 by 1 default cube there. It's going to be important for all the other custom pieces. There's one peg per 1 by 1 centimeter space.
That's in the transfer.
Scale on your channel box. So right now it's attributed, so let's hit Control A. Let's click on the screen right quick. Control A, and that's your channel box. It's all the transfers. So you just mess with the scale and then put it on the grid there. You're using snapping. We're snapping to the grid, guys. Just keep it on the grid. Just put it on the grid. See how it's hovering a little bit above? Screws and probably get snapped. So we'll start snapping it to the grid and there'll be down.
Oh, the one that's the scale and stuff?
Yeah, they're using the channel box. So, you know, exactly.
Is that in the Windows?
So, let's hit right in your attribute editor off to the right there. So let's hit Control A to switch control the channel box. And that's your channel box. So that cylinder was half all the scale attributes. So X, Y, and Z. And scale X, Y, and Z. Right.
Oh god. That scared me for a second.
It's like a very fat nigga.
Things to overlap.
So comfortable, tough,
So it's a little offset.
To be honest, truly be sure.
Yes, it's just a little bit off.
Yeah, logically speaking, you just can be sort of these things are and kids that's
I've seen teenagers that's taller than me. I've seen 10-year-olds taller than me.
because I mean you will always be taller than someone else. So you always can say that, oh, that's just like, you know,
No, not that one. Another like right in the rear box.
of like, oh, what is, it's like a mentality.
You have to say one of the box, not the actual box, just the grid box.
Oh, there you go. Like, what?
Yeah, you got it
It's
right.
just not
Okay.
average. So if some guy is coming to me and
That
saying,
vertex is clear.
but you know, this so bad, I'm like, gonna say, well, no, you're not sure.
We have to use another vertex to snap it to
It's like a video.
the grid precise off.
You're gonna make a man very happy one day. So it's like 5 feet is not short.
Oh,
5
yeah,
inches is not short.
But I'm just saying, like,
That's
I do have standards. Like, so, even though, like, I'm still, like, not, you know, like, close-minded, I still have a preference.
If you use X in the red area,
But how he did it?
But what if the person's like this?
percent the grid.
And then he's like,
Yes, I understand. I mean, for type, it's sort of like,
You have to fit.
but everything else is. As long as he
Just use the axis. Yes.
oh,
like, see, I know you can try.
So,
Let's just say, I'm going to shake on myself.
I mean, I had to do it over because I mean, I learned it.
Give me a chair and then I'm like, okay,
but
so
what did it
bottom
be funny after a
What
while?
would be point in Dmpt?
I will never stop laughing. Why is it like,
I would feel like I'm
Any of
losing
them,
the
any of them
especially if they're in the
And then it's pressing on X, the center part,
a lot of
it's around the grid.
the symptom
The cylinder's a little more tricky. Smooth that out. Move the cylinder out. And then this bring them in. So that's good, so you can just use the top. So then, we have one facing us, dead center. And use the vertex of one of those. Smooth the point.
he has to work so hard so he can get so
And then press hold X.
Oh yeah, I was
the
talking
red
about
arrow.
Lego pieces. I used to steal them.
There you go.
I
And then the smooth box.
steal them from my friends so I could.
So it's right inside there.
Wow,
So it's exactly one by one space.
I'm trying to like look at the side and like it's like jittering around it.
I'm just trying to see if I'm doing right.
Yeah, you tell me.
All right, cool. So we have 4 pegs to place onto our new piece here. I'm gonna go ahead and delete this cube since we're done with the resizing. We're getting an idea what kind of size we need. All right, so if we need 4 pegs on here, how big should this guy be?
The pegs?
No, how big should the base be? So we got the base here. It has 4 pegs.
Oh, I see. Probably about the normal size of the peg.
So we're not going to mess with the size of the pegs, right? We're going to keep that standard, right? But if we have 4 pegs here, so we can take a look at our 2x2 piece.
It'd be the same size as the original cylinder. I don't think you have to move to change the cylinder size.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So we got the height though now. So we got the right height. We just need to change the X and the Z so we can fatten it up a little bit. But if we want 4 pegs on here, just like this, as a matter of fact, I'm going to get these 4 pegs right here, duplicate it. And then, oh man, this is going to get complicated. All right, so get these 4 pegs here. All right, I'm going to go to my outliner. Hit F. It's better now than later. And drag these outside the group here. Okay, if you already have a peg outside of a group, feel free to duplicate that to get 4. If not, let's look for the outliner.
How do you get out of orthographic mode again?
Spacebar. Now, if your tumble view up here in the upper left is also orthographic, you can go up here to panels within your viewport here. Panels, perspective, and then perspective again. You don't have a 2x2?
No, I thought I just duplicated the page that I had. Is that okay?
Yeah, as long as they're all at the same height.
Yeah.
Okay. Get this back out of the way.
I was wrong. It won't fit on the board. It won't fit on the original cylinder.
It should. Now, we do have a little bit of clipping. And it seems standard on all of them. There's a little bit of clipping on the pegs. But we won't worry about that right now. You just want to get the base look. Okay, so does anybody not have their 4 pegs in place? No? All right, excellent, cool. All right, so next step, I'm gonna fatten this guy back up again, but we're not gonna change all of them. We just need the X and the Z. Let's switch those back to 1. All right. So fortunately, my origin point's already in place. To just shift it over just a little bit, so it's within this 2x2 area on the grid here. If yours, oh snap! If yours isn't, let's go ahead and look for that point on the cylinder.
What did you resize that, the bigger cube?
Hmm?
How did you resize the bigger cube?
The bigger cube.
What a cylinder actually.
So, channel box, right over here. Channel box is scale X and is scale Z.
Yeah, I was trying to see what numbers you put for that, for the line.
Well, just one, so we're just bringing it back to its original thickness there. Alright, I'm just going to go ahead and line up these pegs. So since we eyeballed the other ones, maybe a little bit off. Alright, everybody have their pegs in place? The new cylinder Lego piece? We already have them outlined in the square one. Unless you have to duplicate it. So when you duplicate things in a different uniform, just use one axis at a time. Just keep them lined up with one axis or another. So it's like, so that it lines up with the grid. But we'll leave the axis for Did you resize it by hand?
Yeah.
That was a bunch of numbers. So the channel box on this side here. So scale X should be 1. Y should be 0.5. And that's not this one. Default cubes. One to match the other labels. Use those spaced in here. So you have a 2x2 cube. No, we're not going to mess with the pegs. So we want the standard pegs. We want all the pegs to match, right? So we just want to duplicate pegs from the other ones and move them over. All the ones. Right. So those are together. Right, they're going to hang off. Because they're clipped in the original. So this is maybe
1, 2, this is bring 4 pegs, and then 2 by 2, swing it over and send them back. We can do it. So we just want to duplicate with those 4 pegs. And we just, yeah.
That's not gonna do much here, so we're just gonna line them up high.
So if you want a flat look, you go to orthographic. So you can tap 6 bar. Six bar has cool. So that's perfectly flat. So you can line them up. Just like that. Let's get back on the grid. Yeah, so let's do this. Let's go back. There it is. Just like this. Snap it. Use the yellow arm.
That's it, you press the Z's.
Go back. Right there. Okay, now let's align the pegs. All the way through the square circle. Now, so what should you point from? Scale line. So put the cylinder back on the grid there. Let's see the selection tool first. That's fine. Let's delete the pegs. Let's just grab a new set of pegs from the 2 by 2. And since we did eyeball the first set, we might have to tweak it just a little bit. Alright, so we don't want to mess with the height on any of the pegs. Okay? So make them all the same height. So let's delete those new pegs. Let's hit Shift Z. So get the right height for the base there. Shift Z. Shift Z.
Oh.
let's keep going. Let's delete those new pegs. Let's make the pegs from the 2x2. First, let's just place the cylinder back on the grid door. It's a little off. Let's use X and the red arrow. So it's one axis at a time. So, yeah, it's. Oh, I see. So look at the scale there. So we need 1.51 and scale X and scale Z. And this light fits it. Okay, so we've got index right next to it. So it's Dmpt. Orientation. Again, let's try it again. At vertex, very top. Alright, and then let's use the red arrow and X. Is it hovering? Let's grab a new cylinder. So we can delete that one. So from this cylinder, let's punch in 0.5 for the scale wire. Move off to the side so you can see it. Cool. And then let's grab that vertex we're trying to get before. Awesome. So on that side, alright, so let's get the other vertex off to the side. So line that side.
So,
So let's line that up to the grid. This is like blue area. Very awesome. Now we can grab the pegs from that, is it the green one? That's not too big. Yeah. Grab the pegs from the green one, we can place it on there. Any trouble? Yeah.
I'm just like trying to, like, I can't, it's like whenever I try to move these, they're like one by one just disappear.
Let's try to move them.
Like, whenever I use the,
Yeah, let's not use that.
okay.
And this is the, I'm just gonna eyeball it, so let's do it. Because what it's doing when you snap and move multiple objects is that it's just going to layer on top of each other. And it lines up with that one particular guide.
But
So 2 by 2 is not. It doesn't look like the other pegs. Right? They're way too close together. So it's the 2 by 2 too big. And this goes to the 2 by 2 block. So let's move the 2 by 2 block up to the grid. See what it is. It's the 2 by 1. Yeah, it's the 2 by 2. It is a good job. So let's just put the block. Up and over. Up, so it's not big. So select each one of the pegs there. So yeah. You see group 1. Group 4. Yeah. So it doesn't like numbers in the beginning, so let's use block. Block 2 by 2. And let's bring the origin point to one of the corners. Up arrow. Let's see. There you go. And DB to bring the origin to one of the corners. So 42. Here's one pig. So I'm going to just do it. The pig's supposed to fit inside one. So we want to remake that. But in the meantime, let's use one of the successful pegs. One from the 2 by 2 or one by one, then let's duplicate it and add the pegs to your circular piece. too small. Open it around a little bit. So let's place the cylinder on the grid. Okay. Now let's use the vertex next to it. Press Dmpt and change the pivot point to the right. One to the right. There you go. Okay, and let's snap that to the grid. Ladder? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Open around. Okay. Oh yeah, that'll work. That'll work. It needs hit Z to get it back in position.
Okay. Right. Let's see. And those don't line up. Okay, so we got one more important part we're going to need to do with this one. All right, cool. So we're going to need the notches at the bottom here. It's pretty important because they're there because in order to stack on other Legos, they need that opening for the peg to stick out. So what I'm going to do here is go to my edge loop tool. Let's see, mesh tools, insert edge loop. Place the edge loop near the bottom, right about here. Excuse me. I'm going to come to the bottom, go to my face mode. Go ahead and hit your Q key for your selection tool. Then I'm going to press and hold tab. Now, tab is, it turns the selection tool into something of a brush selection tool. Q key.
You said they're going to, how do you use like attribute tool that's supposed to go to like vertex face?
No. So faces, just face mode. Then your selection tool using Q hotkey. Press and hold tab. And then we're going to select all the faces on the bottom here. We're not going to need those. The way you do that with the brush selection tool, so I'm pressing the holding tab, click and hold, and then drag it on around. And then we delete them.
Does it simply delete once you let go of the clip? Once you let go of the mouse?
No, delete key. Okay, so the next faces we're not going to need are the faces at the bottom, kind of under the pegs here. We eyeballed the pegs, so it might be a little off-centered. But if we click the right ones, they should be equal distance from each other. So looks like four faces in between each one of these faces that we're about to delete. And we can delete those. Okay, anybody having trouble deleting faces now?
Just trying to make sure I have it even on each side.
Yeah, so it should be exactly 4 faces in between each selected face here. Okay, everybody has the right missing faces now, right deleted faces. Yeah, okay, cool. All right. So in face mode here, let's double click on one of the faces so we can select all of the faces. So double clicking on a face, it automatically selects all the connected faces. All right, we're gonna go up to extrude. Now there's a couple of ways to get there. So mesh tools. So underneath edit mesh, there's extrude. There's Control E for extrude. And if you see the symbol next to extrude, it's also on your shelf here. So it looks like a building on a block. A building with a sidewalk to it. That's also extrude. So I'm going to hit that button while all the faces are selected. I'm going to grab this blue arrow, push it in, just ever so slightly. If you're more of a numbers person, there's a little menu that pops up right here. And we can punch in, let's say, in the local translate Z, you can punch in negative 0.05.
Where do you find the extrude key at? Where do you find the extrude key at again?
So it's either Control E, it's either this button up top here, building with a sidewalk, or underneath edit mesh.
Why did it turn black?
So it turned black because the normals, oh boy, normals. So normals are what the program uses to calculate the shading on an object, right? So if we extrude it outwards, it's a regular color because the normals are facing outward. But when we extrude inwards, because we want to retain the size of our cube, the normals are pointed inwards, which means the color is on the inside. So if I cut this guy open, then we can see all our original color on the inside there. Of course. So we hit faces, double click again, press and hold shift, press and hold right click, come down here to face normals, keep holding right click, and then reverse normals. So yeah, select all your faces, press and hold shift, press and hold right click. Now while keeping your right click down, let's go down to face normals and then reverse normals.
What does that mean?
So you can see the color on the outside.
Let's click off of it. Okay. Right, then come on. Okay, so select all faces. Shift, right click. Face normal. Okay, let's select all the faces. Shift, right click. Version. All right. So that's fortunate for you. So we'll take a look at the other side of the label piece and also hollow. So you can do the same thing with those two. Extrude, bring them in, and the first one.
Maybe because I covered it. Well, it's also in foundation.
Looks like you deleted it. Yeah, okay. We don't believe in something.
Yeah. So yeah. So tired. I just after this class. Just called class. First year class, so we don't
Okay, we got extruded. Insides here, my hands, but extrude that.
I tried to do it, but for some reason it didn't show me color. Is
Right,
it
that's what
the-
the normal thing is about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so re-extrude it again.
So do I come out of face mode to do this?
You go into face mode, select all the faces.
Okay. I'm going to do it again because I've been doing it. I was still trying to figure out how to do the bottom. So,
So let's double click, select all the faces.
oh, right. And I press tab and do it again.
Let's double click on the face, select all the faces. So we're not doing anything big, we're just extruding the base. So let's double click, face, and then let's go up to, you see the block? Orange block looks like it's a sidewalk. Next. One more, that one. Let's extrude like. arrow, bring it in. Awesome. Right about there. Over. And then double click on the face again. Alright, press and hold shift, press and hold right click.
Right click.
It's going on face normals. It's going to take you into another window in the radio menu. Radio menu, bottom right. Reverse now. There you go.
I don't know what this green stuff is.
Those are the norms.
Okay.
Just for the
So what do
save.
you need?
Alright, so you have them all selected, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then let's go ahead and extrude.
Like, go to normal?
So let's hit the button.
Oh.
Now you got the button, hit the button, so you can tell because you have a little window that pops up that says poly extrude. Okay, just hit the blue arrow, extrude, inwards, right about there. Cool, alright, and then let's double click on the faces again. Control shift, press and hold right click. And then face normals, take it to middle, and then reverse. There you go. Alright, you should be select all the faces. Press and hold shift. So face normals. And toggle face normal display.
I'm right here to the walls. I'm not sure. I still know how to.
So why delete two of them? Just leave it one.
We figure that stuff.
I just needed to get it one time.
Further on.
This is one face. Let's keep going. Let's do it one face. Every fifth face.
I don't know. I just always press the undo button.
I'll do it on.
It's the best. It's something history kind of for Photoshop. Just
Yeah.
go there and just fix it. Or you create smart objects. And some.
We're just selecting faces, every fifth face around the piece.
Looks like a store.
Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4, select. Then we do the tap that is the bottom.
faces first. Cool. Go here now. Here. Let's hit Z. So it's one more time. This is G. Alright, let's look both faces. Let's move shift.
You have to go
Let's move
face.
it quick.
And then select her.
Reverse.
And then go to action for the
Let's look both faces. Let's move shift.
The only problem I have is that it's boxy on the outside.
Going, so let's pursue shift. Face numbers.
So what's the difference on that?
You have two of the faces to leave.
Oh,
All right.
Cool. All right. So we get most of our piece here. All right. So let's take a look at the bottom of Legos here. So we got some filling in to do here. All right. So I just want to look up a reference right quick. All right. So some of these just have one circle in there. One piece earlier has 4 different pieces. Let's see. That does get kind of weird, but oh, there it is. Okay. Well, we're just going to dress this one up the same way we're going to dress the classic blocks up, interior-wise, right? So we're going to do the same thing to the pegs, the same thing we did to the base here. All right. So for each one, let's go ahead to face mode. Use tab to select all the bottom pieces, preferably without deleting the other pegs. It's odd. And then we're going to also extrude those guys inward. So again, if you're a numbers person, negative 0.05. We're just looking for a little bit of thickness. That's all. Cool. Of course, they're black because we need to reverse the normals. All right, nice, nice. It's not too bad. How's which one I'm supposed to do?
Yeah, it's good.
And the measurements for the small pads, you want to have to be 0.5.
For the extrude, 0.05, negative 0.05. All right, cool. So that'll constitute our circular piece. Now there's a little more things we have to do to this. That'll be homework. All right, guys. So we still need. Yeah, we still need that first custom piece. Now, if you're having trouble with it, let's go ahead and let's do the basic one here, the basic slope. Right, we have the first. You have the cube. You extend it out 1 centimeter. Let's bring it down. We add a peg right in the center here, and then we add our edge loops afterwards. Okay, so that'll be your first custom piece if you haven't started one already. Next, what we're going to have to do for homework is we're going to add in all the edge loops here. So right now, if you hit 3, you get this weird oblong shape. Right, not quite as refined as we want it to be. So adding in those edge loops, that requires edge loop tool. Select your object and put one right up here, right about here. Gonna have a couple here. Then each one of these parts need a couple edge loops as well. Inside here is going to help a little bit too. What we're just trying to do is sharpen out our smooth preview. Also going to have to go inside, add a couple here. That's not going to work, unfortunately. Each one of the pegs are going to need a few as well. So a little better. We're going to have to get at these corners. I'll show you how to do the corners next class. There's this creasing function, because we can't place edge loops precisely everywhere, because it is working on a quad draw system. We'll dive more into that next class. So right now, let's add in some more edge loops for a circular piece. And then also, right quick before you leave, let's go ahead and let's fix these pegs that hang off a little bit here. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this face here. It's hanging off a little bit. As a matter of fact, to keep everything even, select all the faces here. right, and then I'm going to hit B for my soft select. B key. Now what this is going to do is it's going to have a fallout influence area. All right, you can tell yellow is pretty much 100%, red is 50, and then it degrades into black, which is 0. So to change the area of influence, you press and hold B, press and hold left click, and slide it left and right. And since I have all 4 of these selected, I'm use my scale tool. Just bring it in just a little bit without changing the height. Right, but for most of y'all, let's use the move tool for each one instead. All right, again, so we select these faces. All right, adjust our influence. And since we can't really use both axes at the same time, instead we're going to click this center cube. The center square right here. That way we move it on 2 different axes. We move it on a plane without adjusting the height. And use that to cheat it in a little bit. And they'll count as our peg pieces for a circular piece. All right. So next class, let's see all the edge loops in place. And still looking for this piece and one other custom piece, along with the basic pieces as well. Any questions? Small recaps? So to adjust it, press and hold B. Any more questions? Concerns? Yeah, in face mode, right? Yeah, so let's click on the whole side. So let's click the faces above your selection too. No. Just shift click those faces above your selection as well. Move them the whole side there. Yeah. Okay. Then let's press and hold B. Press and hold B. So let's click it again. Tap it and turn it on. Turn on soft select, and let's press and hold it. Yeah, and press and hold it. And then let's use our left click to drag to the left. I think makes it smaller. To the left. So click and drag to the left. There you go. And then let go, and then do it again. Make it even smaller. Okay, cool. And that's how you move things around. What's up, man? Oh yeah, books. Forgot about that. Okay, who has the books? Get the book. You have the book. The book. All right, let me see him real quick. Toss him in the air. Check you all.
Adios, smile. All right, anybody else?
Almost got it.
Cool. All right, you two.
So many other classes.
All right, Warren, you get a book? Not yet? Okay, grab a book, man. Shamika?
have the book, I just didn't bring it today.
Okay, send me a picture. Today. You got a book?
I don't have it.
You don't have a book? Okay. Cool, cool. So you're gonna need a book, guys. We're gonna start working from that, and it helps you out, along with YouTube videos, notes, more reference, the merrier. Tap B.
We went back in time and doing stuff. They told the original owner that, hey, you can give away your power to people to assume your DNA. And ultimately, the fact that that means he died in the past. And you know what? That makes me happy.
How do you fix it if you make it too thick?
If you make it too thick, did you click off of it yet? Oh, crap. Well, Z. No?
Where's that one from?
It's a song.
You know the number? Is it a number you can punch in? The numbers? Okay, all right, so let's do this. Let's go to chat box. The chat box, so control A.
Let's do that, please. Please don't.
Cool, all right. And then just go back underneath so you can see the size. See that plus. Yeah, so underneath that, you see the college street. For local translate Z. So what do we have? So we'll do something a little closer to 0. Well, no, it says we adjust the size. So this question like negative 20. So same thing, so with the other pigs, just their inputs and local translate Z.
What's going on?